Since there's international break, the men are off gallivanting international football. I figure, we'll just get right into the show. Let's go.
I hate the most is when you the wonderful.
I hate it.
You have permission to make a mistake. You have permission to lose. You have permission.
And that's when we get big.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
Attack everyone and send everyone.
I think we're forgetting the most important thing. We're forgetting about focusing just on ourselves.
But we can do better. We need to take the next step, and there's no better place than taking the next step here.
Show ourselves out there how much we want to win it again.
We win 4 of the last 5 Premier League, guys. 4 of the last 5 Premier League. Are we going to do it again?
Don't ask me again about doubles, triples, quadruples, fifth-tuples, six-tuples, and seven-tuples. So...
Don't do it. Hey, and welcome to episode 133 of Shades of Blue.
World's famous.
We are the most comprehensive show about Manchester City, covering both the men's and women's game. Who doesn't like us? Spanning both sides of the Mason-Dixon line. We making art over here. Capitalize the A. I am CrunkChocolate. I'm here with my show bros. Sharpie Charlie, Tarik. How's it going? How you doing? How you feeling?
It's good to be here, man. It's a beautiful time. Happy to have everybody back in America.
Hey,
We'll hear about your gallivant over there.
USA.
Too much.
Yeah. Okay, my bad. You're right.
Too much.
This country is doing
not
a lot.
today. Not in 2025. Nope. But we here. You're still here with us, and that's all that matters. Tarik, how you doing today, bro?
Doing good, man. Can't complain. Been watching a ton of March Madness all day, every day, pretty much. Men and women. Tough break for Juju last night.
No,
that was devastating. Oh,
prayers out, man. All the love.
But I posted on social media. And I was like, God's divine timing. He made sure to put the international break right on the first week of the March Madness, so I could watch as many games. Didn't have to be distracted. See, God knew basketball is my first love, and He didn't make me choose.
Yeah, no, you don't.
Gave me a break, so now I can go back. I'm good now. So
and now all the games are at night, so it's like, hey,
yes,
City
see,
is
I'm good.
Everything's separated as it should be.
Won't He do it?
Oh man! And before we get into anything else, what I need you to do right now, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up, show some love, like this video, leave a comment on what you thought of the episode. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pod, or any streaming service that allows you to rate and or review, please do that. It boosts us in the algorithm, gets us connected with other amazing football lovers, citizens, all of those good things. Patreon, for $6 a month, you can get tons of amazing content. I am working on lots of videos of my experience, my 10 days in England, gallivanting, some football based, some not football based. We have Breaking Bread, our match preview series. We have Chopping It Up, our interview series. We got some fun things happening on our Patreon. So for $6 a month, that's just one latte out. That is one beer out, cocktail, whatever you want. Some places, if it's cheap enough, you're in the Midwest, it could be an appetizer. Just tell yourself no once and help support a Most Dope Indie podcast. I want to give a shout out again to the family at FanFest. They are the reason why I got to England in the first place. I won a prize there, but they're really starting to cook, like with the connections and what they're offering. I missed it because I was asleep last night, but they did a interview with Raphael Varane. And so that is out and available. You can watch that. But they have a few other cool things that are going on right now that you can sign up for, register for the app. It's all free. Great things for people who enjoy their Nigerian music. The icon, Fino, he will be doing an interview with them in a month. And they linked up with Timothy Weah, and he signed a bunch of merch that they'll be doing giveaways. So he signed some merch from the clothing line sponsored by God. He is going to do a giveaway of some New Balance boots and an Averex jacket. It's New York as fuck. He actually is one of the new minority owners of Brooklyn FC. And so, you know, why not? And yeah, just plenty of things that they got going on. That's where we host our watch-alongs and my Premier League weekly show, very early morning show. Yeah, check them out. Link to FanFest, it's in our show notes. Go ahead, click it, register, and just tap into them. But we got men on international break, so there's some just random city topics, general Premier League topics that I want to discuss. Then we have City women. You know, they had the good in the Champions League, but it's back down. And we have the prospect of the Champions League Leg 2 coming with half a squad, basically. So I definitely want to talk to my show bros about it. Tom Bomb would be great, but he is up feeling under the weather. So feel better soon, friend. We love you. But first, I want to say, truly thank you, my show bros, for holding things down for the last 2 weeks. Let's stream. And also, happy 3 years, bro. It's been 3 years of Shades of Blue.
Wow, that did happen. That's crazy, man.
Like, how has it been? Because I mean, I remember us being like 6 months in and a year in, and I was like, and we'd be talking about like what we wanted to do with the pod and what our expectations were. And first off, let's start here. And we'll start with Tarik, because you know you're the one who openly said, you know, I told my wife I'll see how things go.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, man. Like,
So,
I remember being
3 years.
I remember being on the sideline of my kid's game. You know, it's a state cup weekend. We're down in Indy watching games, and I'm stepping away to try to get on the phone because it's I think it was, I don't know if it was our final match of the season. I forget, but we were, you know, hoping to win the league. And just so many different moments along the way that you can point back to. It's just like crazy because, to your point, and like I said, I have been open about it. I just told my wife, is like, you know, I don't know anything about these people. Never met them before. I don't know how it's gonna go. I'll do it a couple times. If I don't like it, I'll just be done with it. It ain't, you know, big deal, whatever. And here we are 3 years later, and not only are we still doing it, but it's like it's built into my calendar. It's on the calendar. My wife knows, okay, she'll ask me sometimes, are you recording on Sunday or are you on Monday this week? Because she knows it switches up sometimes. But it's just a part of my normal routine. And, you know, my family just knows, okay, Dad's doing his thing. So it's just crazy how quickly the show, but really more importantly, you gentlemen have become a big part of my life. And it's it's crazy. I wouldn't give it up for anything.
Man, I echo so much of that. I remember, like, too, I've lived so many places since we started. I was in Long Beach. Had just moved there that June before in 21. Had been starting to look for community, thought about some supporters clubs, and I was like, we'll see. And then saw the tweet. I actually think Ash retweeted it because I follow her, saw her retweet it. And then I was like, okay, I'll try it out. And then the whole interview process with Crunk. But like, yeah, it's been a story, honestly, of like my 30s. I was like 31 then, I'm like 34 now. So it's like, yo, like that has been a huge part of me, and people know about it. My friends know, my family knows, roommates know, you know, whenever I'm in a relationship, they understand, like, yeah, my pod is very important. And then you all going from being like just names to just pod bros to just like associates to like friends, like brothers, right? And being able to link up twice in Chicago and in North Carolina, um, just countless hours adding in shows, trying out stuff. Some stuff doesn't work, some stuff does. It's just been a beautiful process. And I know like I've had times where I thought I was gonna quit because I was like, yo, what's the point? What are we doing? I'm tired, I don't want to talk. And then it's like, no, something keeps me coming back. And it's not city, it's y'all. And so, y'all are the constant and just grateful to still be here. And, now we international. So, we really do this.
Yes, this is like legitimately everything I could have hoped with creating Shades of Blue. Well, when it comes down to it, all I wanted to do was be able to represent city fandom, city in general, but from our perspective, our culture, our people with melanated skin, and how they see the game and bring joy and laughter, and to think, the troubles we had with our community at the beginning, but then that forced us to kind of like grow and connect with a lot of people outside of city, which has really benefited us, I feel. And when I talk a little bit more about my trip to Manchester, all of the opportunities that I was able to get, all the people that I was able to meet, it was because of this podcast. It was because of the situations and circumstances that kind of forced me to get out of my comfort zone and grow. Yeah.
One of the biggest things in the sign of growth and progress is that our original handle was like Shades of Blue Pod, and now it's Shades of Blue Network because there's a legit network. There are multiple shows. There's different nights. Like everything went from just, okay, we record one time a week. And it's like, oh, we got Champions League twice a week. Now it's like, oh, lit stream, try this out. Okay, it doesn't work. We'll do it consistently for this year. Like everything continues to build. And so it gets me excited about, the things to come. As city rebuilds, we keep building.
Yes, sir.
It's funny because it reminds me of, and I don't know their history, but like if you watch AFTV on YouTube, and then Don Robbie, who's kind of like the main dude, then they kind of spun off into DR Sports, and they kind of talk about everything. They have a bunch of different stuff, and it's kind of like with us. It's like we started out Shades of Blue, was all about Man City, and then now we have all of the things that are in the network. It's like CC Sports here in the US, Crunk Sports. There you go. It's the Crunk Sports
Let's
Network.
do it. That's the next iteration right there, baby.
Shades of Blue is one show. You got the Arsenal show. You got the 12. All on Crunk Sports TV on YouTube.
There it is. There it is.
It's I couldn't do any of this stuff without the community. That is kind of my biggest thing. And even with the trip to England, I know I could have recorded a lot more than what I did, but it was a mixture of me wanting to be in the moment since it was my first trip, and two, I'm just so bad at centering myself, and I like doing these shows, the recordings, the stuff for the Patreon. Yeah, that's me doing it, but half the time I'm recording at like 8, 9, 8. Like I would love for you guys to join me, but y'all have traditional, normal working jobs, but like where I have to be like, hi, Crunk here, all about me. That is still a level of growth that I need to do. So the idea of me naming anything CCTV, my hands started sweating. Like I was just like,
Actually,
no.
I like Crunk Sports better.
Crunk Sports
was better. We gonna go.
CCTV is like surveillance. Like
yeah, exactly. That's when I said I was like, it don't really hit. Crunk Sports though.
And yeah, okay. So 3 years. Wowie. And yeah, shout out to everybody in Shady Gang. We've worked with so many people, and it's great. And one day I'll get to capturing all the people that we've worked with, but that's a fucking lot of people, and that would take me forever. That's where you need like interns and some shit.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna volunteer my daughter, but she's got her own thing going. We need an intern.
Summer
She got her own
project. Summer
internship.
project.
Yeah, there you
Right,
go.
right.
But
Yeah.
can't forget. Tom's not on here because he's not feeling well. Of course, we already shouted him out. But Danielle and Lando, who kind of walked this walk with us, they didn't. They're not still with us, but always a part of the show.
Hell yeah. I wanted to delve in a little bit more about my trip to England, especially because last week your boy was smacked. It was St. Patrick's Day. I was like, it's fine. I'll be fine. And I thought the recording went great. And I listened to it the next day and I was like, I was so drunk. Shout out to my show bros for holding it down and bringing some sobriety to the episode. Some focus. Goodness gracious. I love you guys. But again, I want to thank FanFest for sending me there. Shout out to Man City US for all the pre-match content that I did with them. The homie Alex, Serge, and Sergeant. Him met his lovely wife Joe, a few of his kids, walked me around London, got to check out Arsenal Stadium. I hate to say it, it is actually really cool. Like it's kind of beautiful. The space around it is very nice. Yeah, that was fantastic. Alex took me to this amazing Turkish food place. Like, bruh, I wasn't the most familiar with Turkish food, but now all I want to do is eat at Ilde's every day for the rest of my life. But that would get very expensive very quick. Let's see. Naturally, shout out to Manchester Evening News, being able to chat with Joe Bray and Simon Bauskowski. Like, that was insane. That was weird as fuck.
I just want to say, like, when I saw that picture, I think that was like I was starstruck. It wasn't the Man City content. I don't watch them as much, but I've been following those guys on Twitter for years.
Yeah.
So to see you just sitting beside those handles, I'm like, yo, like, they break news all the time. Like, I'm out here reading their tweets at 5 a.m. in the morning, on the East Coast. Like, that was surreal. I was like, yo, he's really with Big J journalists for real. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was definitely nervous, and I usually don't. And it's also because, like you said, they're Big J journalists, so they're very serious. And there were definitely moments in my brain where I wanted to like be full crunk. I was like, no, I should temper myself. So I feel like I was very.
He was
calm.
out there code switching.
Facts, big facts.
International code switching in England with the Queen's English out here, or the King's English now.
I was like, don't say nothing crazy. Don't say nothing crazy. Don't say nothing crazy. And yeah, by the end of it, I think we were great. And yeah, because there's even a moment before we were recording, and one of them asked me a question, and I definitely gave like a politician answer. I was like, well, if we're just happy, like, but honestly, I wanted to be like, well, honestly, there's a lot of motherfuckers that made things hot for us, and that's why. But it's like, no, we have experienced what we've experienced, and that forced us to network and grow our brand in ways that I couldn't foresee. I'm just happy to be here with great people like you. And so, yeah, that was wild. Oh, let's see what else specific. The Man City women's match, that was absolutely amazing.
And that pick was dope.
That the seeing the players, maybe it's just because we've been to some of the preseason games, and so I've seen the men before. But yeah, seeing the ladies come on the pitch, that hit different. Watching the keepers do their practice before the game, and like Carolyn and Medema and Mary Fowler, literally seeing Mary Fowler and Kirsten Kasperai do their best friend thing in person. Coolest. Oh my God. Because they immediately, like, everybody ran out, and then those two immediately ran all the way to the other side of the pitch to just kick the ball around together. It's like they really are best friends. It was great. Man City Women Official Supporter Club. It was so great to see them, be able to take pictures with them. So many people that I've connected with and we tweet with, to put faces to that was great. The energy there was so much better because I talked about it, but the people that I was sitting around at the men's match, and one of them knew a few friends that we share on social media, and she basically called me loud. And I was like, ha 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 ha, that's cute, that's fun. But then you go to the city women's match, and I shared a clip, and I'll share it again because I'm missing everything. But it was after the second goal, and I'm swinging it, and I'm trying to just focus on myself, and I'm just like, come on! And then all of a sudden, people are coming in, and they're screaming with me, and I was just like, this is what I wanted with the men's. Like, this is what I thought I was going to get with the men's, but it was leave it to the women's side, which we always joke, hey, whenever the men disappoint us and let us down, we always know the women's team can bring the vibes. And that was wonderful to see that even goes to the fan base. If they had the DJ before the match, I tried Bovril, fucking pies. I know pies are pies.
You said Bovril?
That's the beef thing.
Bovril. Yeah,
somebody
it's
talked
like a
about
beef
it when
drink.
we had a guest that talked about it one time. I forget who it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it's literally just a beef drink. I think it's like thin gravy, basically. And it's just hot.
See, I thought it was like a beef broth kind of like
it. I mean, that's basically beef. It's because it's a little more savory than because sometimes broth can be thin, but yeah, like it was great. You just sip on that. I ate my pie before the match. And
so what kind of pie?
I did steak and ale pie.
Mm.
And they like the whole setup was really nice because you could also do. They had like a combo special, which was the steak and pie with mashed gravy and peas. And I don't know why I didn't do that, but also I didn't want to be too like full and bloated during the match. And I was freaking joy. I know it's the Academy Stadium, it's a smaller stadium, but the vibes were fantastic. I saw the why can I not think of their podcast right now? But I saw some big people. I saw some other big J journalists while I was there waiting for beer, and I contemplated saying something to them, but I was like, nah, let's let them do their thing. That was pretty much the height of it. Oh,
can you reveal your sidewalk interaction?
Yes, that's what I was about to say. How did I forget that? Okay, so my phone died. I have an iPhone 11, so it was like the battery on it is shit, and I basically had to find my hotel from Joy Stadium just walking. So in the dark, I'm walking, and I knew the general direction. So I'm walking down a street, and there's a fancy hotel, and there's a guy smoking a cigarette outside it. I'm like, all right, cool, let's walk past him. But the closer I get to him, I'm like, this motherfucker looks like Niels Nielsen. But then he turned his back. So then I was like, it could just be some older dude. In my head, I'm being silly. But then I got really close. She's like, anybody ever tell you look like Niels Nielsen? And he hit like a final drag, turned, and was like, it's because I am. It's like, oh shit! Like, I literally lost it. I was like, hey, bro, I do a Man City men's and women's podcast. I would hate myself if I didn't shake your hand, say thank you for what you've done with the club. It was a legit 5, 7, 8 minute conversation. I was like, hey, why did you leave? Obviously, he's talked about it. He said, when you get older, you just can't do things that you aren't all in on. And he loved the sporting director. He absolutely adores Manchester City, everything about them, the club. Like, he has nothing negative to say. He was at the match watching the game, but he wanted to manage, and the opportunity to manage Japan is great. And I was like, well, obviously you brought a chunk of the team to City, so I appreciate you doing that. Like, what you were able to do in the year that you were here and the players that you brought in, you set us up for so much success. So I want to thank you for that. And I then naturally talked to him about the Japanese team a little bit more. And he was like, I think there's still so much more that this team can do. They could be a little more patient. They could be a little smarter on the ball. But at the She Believes Cup, they did very well, scored 9 goals. I don't think USA could do that. I was like, well, they didn't. And you beat us down. Like it was just a wild conversation. And I was like, I wish my phone wasn't dead. I legitimately contemplated being that weirdo, being like, can you take the photo and send it to me? I was like, no.
I'm glad your better judgment came through, because that would have definitely made it a weird moment. Like,
it would have.
But I can't give you my contact, dog.
Or we could have became best friends. Or I could now be best friends with Niels Nielsen.
Because listen, if I'm walking down the street, I see Erling Haaland. Everybody knows who Erling Haaland is. See Kevin De Bruyne, everybody knows who Kevin De Bruyne is. If I'm walking down the street and I see Bunny Shaw, I'm going to know who Bunny Shaw is, right? I personally would not remember enough to remember what Niels Nielsen looks like. I know the name, I know what he did, but I couldn't tell you what his face looked like. So he's probably not a person who gets stopped or gets recognized on a regular basis. So the fact that somebody recognized him and could speak intelligently to what he's done for the club and for Japan, he probably would have been like, yeah, I'll do it, because it's like, this doesn't happen every day. If I get, if I'm doing, paparazzi everywhere I go, I'll be like, dude, leave me alone, back up. But in this case, it probably makes him feel special to be like, oh, dude, actually recognize me. Wow.
He's always going to remember you, Crunk. Like, he'll never forget the tall black guy who came and talked to him on the street randomly.
He thought he was about to get hit mugged, but then he was like, nah, he want to talk soccer. This is dope.
You talking football, we good. Okay, he's a highlight. He's a highlight.
So any of the people who watch, and if you know Niels, if he wants to become friends, I would love, go to Japan, see a practice, go to a game, like send him my direction, Shades
international
of blue,
Crunk, okay?
Yes, sir.
Continent number
Crunk
3.
Sports goes international. Crunk Sports takes on Japan.
Next thing you know, he'll be calling up an Argentina Connect. It'll be all over. Like,
oh man, yeah,
kicking it with Sergio.
Oh, don't even get me started about that. I'd cry. I'm trying to think everything else that was major and substantial, I guess, to talk about. The food in London was great. I was actually very shocked about that. What I want to really show love to Manchester City, US, their account, because he's very new. He's I don't want to call out his name, but you know who you are. And I'll describe him well enough that everybody knows exactly who I'm talking about, who knows. But he is English, but has family. His mom is from America, from Philly. So he's a real big, he has now become a big Philadelphia sports fan. And he's done some really cool things in himself. Him and the person who was doing the recording had a real nice camera when they were recording the stuff. But we went to the classic football shirts. They $200 for me to get shirts. So I was able to get 2 of those, and being able to just roam and hang out with them, see the area, learn a little bit more about Manchester, and take in its energy with people who are familiar with the area, lived in the area. It was basically just like hanging out with some bros. I drank so much beer. I thought about getting some drinks for tonight. I was like, I don't think my stomach wants to drink anymore. So I think I might take a little break, because Kim and Maddie, the people I stayed with when I was in London, amazing guests. They bought me a big old snack pack of English snacks for me to try. So I ate horribly in the best way. They made sure there was always beer in the fridge. Again, with Alex, that was anybody who they reached out to spend time with me, or I reached out to spend time with them. Chris going to the Salford rugby match, like, welcomed me in. I drew, like, yes, this Manchester is not my home, but everybody who I spent time with made sure that I felt as home as possible. Hell, even doing the halftime show with Howie and FG, everybody was there. They made sure I was nice and welcomed. The production team, which those are the people that I normally talk with and I deal with, they were fantastic and super nice. I plan on clipping up more details of that halftime show that I did, because they naturally had CrunkChocolate eat chocolate. And I don't know. I thought that was very funny and on the nose. And yeah, it was all in all just a wonderful experience. And I love everybody. Fucking fish and chips at D's right outside of the Etihad. I got a photo in front of the Pep mural. I feel like I did everything that is like stereotypical that you should do, but very much still was able to have my own moments of experience.
First, just want to reiterate, I think we said it when you were gone, like, couldn't have happened to a more deserving
For
person.
sure.
You earned
For
this,
sure.
like the hours and hours you put into City. The fact that everything aligned this way it was God's plan for real. I want to ask though, did you get any statue pictures?
I got only one, and it was with like the Summer Bee and all of them, because when I was late to the match. So like, and then once the game was over, my phone surprise was dying. I bought a battery pack like after all of that stuff. Basically after the women's match, I was like, all right, enough of this. I'm gonna buy a battery pack. So I just got that. Oh, I was able to. Why can't I not remember his name? But I was able to meet the old guy who's like head to toe in City gear. I was able to have a nice conversation with him. Why can I not think of his name? It's something classic, like Clive or something like that. And he was a very nice guy. Conversation got pretty political. I was not expecting that, but he was fantastic. He was very nice. Gate was willing to give me my own time. And yeah, just the fucking Crunk shirt, that was amazing. Like Crunk 5, being able to hold that. Was able to talk on the official Man City mic, color, the logo. I was just like, oh, this is the future for me, representing Man City. It was great. It's great.
And City US, get my man's out here,
Let's go.
Open up the Midwest
Hey,
contingent.
Club World Cup. Let's cook. Let's cook.
Really.
Yeah. Again, like y'all said, the time that I have put into this podcast, this trip was a pretty good example of, because honestly, I do find myself being like, what am I doing? What are we even doing this for? Where are we even going to go with this? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. But definitely this last 10 days should have been 7, but basically a mini power plant exploding next to Heathrow forced me to stay for 3 days. But that was...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was always that long. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was supposed to come back on Friday, but I woke up to basically being like, your flight has been canceled. Please find a new day for it. And that was like the first thing I saw when I woke up. And I was supposed to go hang out with Deep D. Like, there were some things I was supposed to do that night, and I didn't, because I wanted to make sure I woke up nice and early, because I had to be there by like 9, which meant I had to be up at 6 to
How was
take
it
the
getting?
train.
Never mind. We'll talk offline. I want to know like the airport, because I'm going, so I just want to know like how long did it take you to get through security, all that kind of stupid crap.
Honestly, it moved really fast. I don't.
Okay.
Maybe they knew I was like a sweet, nice guy or something, but everything they're pretty. I didn't have to take off my shoes and stuff like that though. So, like there's multiple steps, but I feel like it took longer to get through O'Hare, like way longer to get through O'Hare than it did anything at Heathrow. It's bigger. So there's like, depending on the terminal, there's different buildings for each terminal, which was kind of insane. And then it's based, and you know it is like some airports are better than others, but that bitch is basically like a mall. It was insane. And I love, again, the prices. Shout out to the English for not trying to murder everybody financially. I was able, before I went to Manchester, when I arrived in England, there was a bar right next to my gate. I was drinking beers. They were all £4-5. That's insane at an airport. Like, it broke my brain because before I bought a beer in the Miami airport and that was $14 and it was just a plain lager. So to get to England and I was like, hey, let me get this. I don't care, guys. Just give me a beer. It's whatever. I just want something English. And they were like $4.20 something. Naturally, there's a conversion and American dollar is down bad. So there was that. But it was still cheaper than anything I would be buying at an American airport. It was amazing. Okay. Yeah, that's everything. And anything else I missed, it will be covered in some of these videos that I'll be making. So watch out. Let's talk a little bit about men's football. If there's anything in particular about all the men's that you want to talk about also, but I want to talk about Echeverri. The fact that Echeverri, Phil Foden, and Trent Alexander-Arnold, because that has led to an interesting discussion that I would like to get my show bros thoughts on. Let's start with Echeverri because I feel like that's going to be kind of the quickest thing to talk about. The word is coming out that he will be going on loan next year, potentially to Lazio. I don't love that, considering they're all not great people for the most part. You know, their fan base. If you know about them, then you know about them. I'm not going to delve deeper into that. A lot of people are upset because it's just another young player that we believe could be successful at City, and he's leaving. I guess I just try not to expect too much out of a player, especially a young player, even if he does ball out for his country. So I guess my show bros, how are you feeling about it? Are you upset? Because that's what a lot of people, they were just upset. They're pissed off at Pep for again sending a young player away. And why am I trying to?
So I think I did see that report. I've also seen where he's expected to be with us through preseason, which means he'll be with us, in my mind at least. What that means is he'll be with us in the Club World Cup. And then make a decision from there. There was talk about, well, maybe he ends up going to Girona if he does go on loan. So I think it's still kind of up in the air. Maybe he ends up in Italy. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. But I think a couple of things. One, the way this season has gone, we are searching for a savior. And Phil Foden hasn't been it this season. Haaland can't do it by himself. We're searching for anyone to be creative, to unlock Haaland, to help kick in with goals. We're hoping that Marmoush is going to do some of that, but it's still early days. So I think the same thing with Oscar Bob in the preseason, right? We put a lot of pressure on him to come in and carry a lot of weight for this team this season. He ended up getting hurt, and so we never got a chance to see that. Echeverri is the same thing. You know, there's been so much hype, so much talk about what he could do or what we expect him to do or what he's doing for Argentina under 21s. All of those things meant a lot of pressure on that kid's shoulders. And he was never, in my opinion at least, never going to be able to live up to it because the expectations were just totally outsized. I would hope that he gets a chance because I hope that there means there's enough turnover in our squad that there's a place for him. I don't know that, Pep's not going to play anyone that he doesn't think has earned it, I guess. I have my issues with, not my issues. I have my differences with Pep in regards to some of that, right? There are some people that I would have played much more or earlier or whatever than Pep does. But again, he's seeing them every day in training. So my hope is still that we see him at least at some point this season. Give him a chance, get him a couple minutes, and then really position him for the Club World Cup. But I've not given up on the possibility of him being with us next season. But if it happens, yeah, it will be confirmation for those people who felt like Pep was never going to play young players. They will have confirmed their worst fears or whatever. So we'll see what happens.
So, unsurprising, I'm gonna take a different approach, and here's the reason why. There are a couple other names that come to mind when you said Echeverry. I thought about Maximo Ferroni, and I thought about Juma Ba. And what do these players have in common? They are both loaned out by City, playing top flight football. Perron's been in Serie A at Como,
Como.
and Juma Ba is now in France. He basically took Kuzanov's spot at Lens, RC Lens. So what you have are players that are getting the experience, getting the week to week minutes that are so hard to come by at City, being a super young player. And then after those two players, I thought of a man who's not a citizen, but the links are there. Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz is only 21. So he's 2 years older than Echeverry, but he's been playing top flight football since 2020. He beat Bayern. He's a part of the team that took down the Bayern Munich empire. He's played Champions League football. That's the player you go get. People are talking 100, 120, 150, whatever the number is, he's the one. He's the next one up. And so as much as I would love the hype of Echeverry to come in and just be Lamine Yamal, that is very rare for a reason. It takes time. You got to get used to it. He had never even played. He doesn't have a senior Argentina cap. He's only played U21, right? Like he is not fully developed yet at all. And so when you think about the squad next year, you think about Bob coming back. You think about Foden, hopefully, health issues come up. We'll talk about that. But like, you think about these people. You got Nico O'Reilly. You got other Nico. You got all the Rodri's coming back. You got a lot of things that are going to be happening. Mamouche there for a full year, where the attack in midfield, it's not too far off from being like fully like fleshed out. And so is that spot going to go to the kid that just came from River Plate and didn't even play that much there? Or are we trying to go get a Galactico from Germany who has dominated that league? And for me, I'm always going to go with that. And so wish Echeverry the best. Hopefully he stays. Hopefully he does great in the Club World Cup and pops out and we can't let him go. But if he leaves, it's not the worst thing because he's under contract for like 5 years. So we have plenty of time to like watch him develop and not like make the mistakes we did before where we players got off and we couldn't get them back, right? Everything we do now either has a buyback or like you are on a pure loan, we will take you back. So it's really an investment for the future. And that's how you keep this thing rolling after off year.
Yeah. Well said from both of you. I want to keep it moving. I feel like we should do the serious before going to the silly with Trent. Phil Foden. It's really funny that this article by Jack Gone came out. Shout out to the homie. The last time I had him on, I definitely was like, Phil Foden. I mean, actually, the kind of the theme of the whole recording we did together, which you can listen to on Patreon. I was basically just, bro, can you give me any positives about our players not being great? Help me understand, maybe because I'm just so disappointed in legends, our soon-to-be legends, our just people who have held us down for so long. And what he said, which told me he knows what's going on, just like, Phil just seems weaker, doesn't he? And it was like, yeah, that's one way to describe it. And he does. He just seems off of it. And we knew about the whole mental fatigue, the brain fog, whatever, because that supposedly is what he said at the beginning of the season. But then people were like, that's not what he said. He's been taken out of context. And now it comes out that he has some sort of intestinal disability where he has lost a bunch of weight. He has been incredibly fatigued. That city has had to buy a chef specifically for him to get him on the right diet and the right training plan. And from here, we should be able to see the best of Phil Foden. And again, we won't know, or I mean, I'm also hidden behind a paywall. I've read too many of his Daily Mail articles for free, so now Daily Mail wants me to subscribe, and I ain't doing that. But I don't know how long it took for them to find this out. Was it something that they knew about all year and they've just kind of been keeping quiet about it? I'm happy that we now know, but a big part of the discussion has been whether it's okay that we have been questioning his ability now that we know what he's been dealing with. And with City's success, we have this fan base. Yes, we have the glory hunters and blah, 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 and they scream that everybody is shit all the time and blah, blah, blah. But I feel like people like us, we definitely try to obviously speak how we feel, but also try to think critically and delve deeper into conversations and understand maybe a bigger reason for Phil Foden's struggles. Does finding out about Foden's ailments does it help you understand why he's been off it? Does it make you want to be nicer to him? Or is it just part and parcel of being an athlete and I'm happy it's figured out, but it is what it is? Sharpie?
I mean, yeah, context matters, right? Like, you only can go off what you know. And if you're told a player has a muscle injury, or they're recovering from a bone that broke or whatever, like you understand, like that's normal. And it's like, okay, eventually, like, it's been 8 months, we expect you to play, Kevin De Bruyne, we expect you to be back to full strength, whoever, insert defenseman here. But when you're talking about something that's intestinal and dealing with, you know what food you can eat and all that, yeah, if you tell us that at the start, then of course it changes the whole conversation, the narrative of the season. It's just like, well, hope Phil is well, and then we can get to football. Versus, and maybe they were still finding it out. It goes, oh my gosh, his football has changed so much. He just won Player of the Year. To, oh my God, he can't stick together 3 dribbles. This isn't good. You're Reggie Foden now. So for one, I won't take back what I said, but now that I have context, I would definitely look at him in a light of like, I just hope you're healthy. And it makes even more sense, again, throughout the whole squad, both sides, men and women. We just got to get through this year. Like, we just got to finish 2025 and turn the page in the summer, because it has been like a series of unfortunate events. And so, yeah. So, Tarek, what you think, bro?
No, I mean, you're right. Context does matter. And I think there was I don't know how long ago, but I kind of tried to do the same thing and put it in the context of Chadwick Boseman, right? There were a lot of people who had comments about his appearance until you realize dude was literally fighting for his life. And so then it's like, okay, maybe we should be a little bit better. So I think I think it's okay to say he hasn't been what he was last year. It's hard to be that because he was player of the year last year. But um, even that being said, he's just not hasn't been there. Now, again, we can go overboard, and I think in the fan base, not necessarily us, but in the fan base, there are quite a few people who are going over the top. And so that part you hate, and you hope that this gives them the context to shut up and, let that man, because really it's not even about football. It's about him. He's got a young kid, wife, and I don't know a bunch about whether it be Crohn's or whatever else, but that type of you, it impacts your life, right? So you just want him to be good. Forget football for the moment. You just want him to be good. So we will see. But yeah, I just hope he's okay. And then, like you said, just get this year over with. I'm just ready for it to be over with. Just counting down days. Pray we end up in the top 5 and move on to next season.
Man, what a time for us to go from winning 4 in a row to just being like, can we get top 5, please?
Well, see, here's the thing, right? Like, it hit me that unless you're dominating a league like Bayern Munich has done or PSG, even Real Madrid and Barcelona go years without winning La Liga. Like, it's just the nature of like, hey, there's going to be another team or two that are going to take something away from you. Like,
Good
it's
job.
4 in a row rarely happens there. You might get back to back, and then Real Madrid gets stronger, and Barca falls off, and then they lose Messi, and they're coming back. Atletico, you sneak one in. Like, that's the cycle of things. And so, again, we are extremely spoiled. And being spoiled isn't a bad thing, right? Like, Terry, you spoil your kids because you love them, right? It means I love you a lot. You take care of them. City has taken care of us and brought us the best memories in this generation of football. And eventually things had to shift. So there has to be a grace for a human element. And that's kind of what Pep was getting at. Is like, it's hard for me to go away from my guys. Like, these aren't robots. These are relationships and years and years and years. We could all look back and say, hindsight, get rid of everybody last summer and buy a whole new squad. But it's like we see in basketball, right? You got to give them that one more time. You don't want to be Jerry Krause tearing away the Bulls when they really had a chance to go for a four-peat. You want to say, let's let the people that got us here have one more chance. And then if it's not there, okay, we fix it all. But, City has done so much for us on the men's side, right? And so it's like this part of it, to have a 5th place fight, it's a different type of fight. It's a fight that's just as important as trying to win the league, because we want to keep that Champions League streak. Like, so the players and managers, and they all know what it is. I hope that the supporters can get behind them. And like you said, Crunk, at the men's game, I hope that these games start to feel like we are going for a title, because it's the same equivalent for what we need this year.
You talked about the atmosphere at the men's game, and we were talking about money and all that kind of stuff. And there's a bigger conversation that's happening just with the club and 1894 and all the different groups about pricing and the impact that it's having on match day. And so I don't know what the difference in the prices were between your men's game ticket and then the women's ticket, but I imagine it's quite a bit different, right? There's a big disparity. So it's an easier lift to be able to get to the women's matches. You're going to have probably fewer midweek matches where typically attendance is down anyway. Yeah, you want to see that atmosphere that you're seeing on the women's side. You want to see it everywhere, but part of it is just driven by the sheer cost of entry to get into the match for so many people. So they got to do better. But it's easy for me because I sit over here in the comfort of my home, watching on my couch, or maybe go to a bar or whatever. That's it's whatever for me. But if you're going every, and if I go over there, it's not going to matter what the price is. I'm going to go, right? I'm going to go. I'm going to pay the price because it's an event for me. It's a once in a lifetime thing. But if you live over there, 30 pounds every match versus 50 versus 60 versus up, that's a big difference every single weekend or every midweek or whatever. So I get it, but we have to be better as a club. We have to figure something out to make sure that atmosphere stays where it needs to be.
I'm with you. Yeah, my women's ticket was $20, and I was in the front row.
Yeah, it's a no brainer. Now the frustrating part about that is, how do we get more people to the women's matches? So I don't know if the $20 for the Joy Stadium game against Chelsea versus the Etihad Stadium game against Chelsea, if the ticket prices were the same, if they were quite a bit different. But there was a decent crowd there, but there were still a lot of empty seats. The men weren't playing. How do we get more people to those matches?
Yeah,
It was embarrassing.
I mean, I was trying to be
And
nice.
no, it was because when you compare it to what Arsenal support gets at Emirates, it's
sell
night
out.
and day. Like it's a sellout, it's 45K. It's an event. Like we've seen it, we felt it. Like you said, there's no men's league football, no Premier League football. There's no excuse. I could see if you're like, oh, the men had a match this place. Like we've seen it before, right? But for you to
Exactly.
go like the best team in the country's coming, this is in the league. We're trying to win. Everything is there to say, hey, go support the women, go support the ladies, go support the girls. And then the fan base doesn't show up. Come on, man. Like you can't, like I can't take you seriously because that doesn't happen to Chelsea. That doesn't happen to Arsenal. United can get more people when they go to Old Trafford. Like you got to step up. And who knows? Like, of course, there are always extenuating circumstances and context matters. But on the surface, it looks bad when that camera pans out and it's a bunch of blue seats and not people.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the red side of things, when Arsenal plays multiple matches at the Emirates and gets 40K every time, like people got to step up, man.
So what I will say is I found out about Arsenal. What they do is if you are a season ticket holder for the men's, they offer the women's in addition for just like a little bit more.
And that's smart.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think they offer that for the women, but I mean, they could at least offer that for when they have games at the Etihad and be like, hey, if you want to give us an extra $40 and you can get the tickets to the games at the Etihad. Because I'm with you. It was very embarrassing. And I looked at possibly going to the Arsenal versus Liverpool women's match because I was in London for that extra time, but I just didn't want to be surrounded by that many people in red. It was just like overwhelming. But I looked at the ticket prices. They were 15, 20, $25. Like it was all incredibly affordable.
And wasn't it said that this was only the second team that City has ever played at the Etihad? Like usually it's only the Derby. And I believe like Chelsea is like the second team. So even that, like in the CFG family, like how much are you prioritizing your women's side? Where you have three big rivals and you have two other rivals. Well, three. Yeah, you have three other rivals and only one of them has played the Etihad. We played them once a year. Like, do better. I want better. I expect better. I'm not giving out excuses. We got crazy revenues all over the place. You can make these tickets $2 if you really wanted to. Like, do what you got to do and like treat these women with respect and actually make it a whole thing. That's where I'm at now. Point blank. Period.
Yeah, because if you make the tickets half price, maybe you get it full. And you're gonna make up the whatever you lost on a per ticket basis by just volume, right? So
And there's no men's match, so like naturally everything is basically profit because there's nothing happening there anyway. I don't know. Let's do better, City, next year.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. All right. Well, let's end overall the subject with Trent Alexander-Arnold. It has all but become official that Mans is going to Real Madrid. And what I think has shocked me the most out of this conversation isn't that he's going to Real Madrid because, it's not what it is. It's all of the City fans who have been pissed off for Liverpool Football Club that a homegrown player is screwing them over financially, leaving for free to a team like Real Madrid. That has it's blown my brain.
You said City fans are upset?
City fans. I've seen multiple people. I've seen multiple people kind of posting. I even saw LB kind of going at Erling Roll, who's like a huge person on Twitter. Because they're all basically like, if again, they're doing the Arsenal thing where they make it about them. If Phil Foden did this, I would be so pissed off. And it's like, sure, but it's not like, why people in hypotheticals have people in fucking chokeholds, and it angers me and it upsets me. And yeah, it's just so people, man, it just sucks that he's been there. He's leaving on free. Like, we should be laughing at them. Like, we should be having the hearts about this. But also, it's Liverpool's fault because Real Madrid were willing to purchase him. They were willing to be like, hey, let him come in the winter. And they were like, no. And in fact, we're not even going to let him talk to you guys until the end of the season, which I also talked about on this pod in January, that all but basically pushed him out of the window. Like, because what could happen is you let him talk to Real Madrid, they lowball him. You now can offer him a bunch of money to stay an extra year or so, and then you could sell him for profit. Like, there are ways around it, but they were just not being nice to him about it. So the fact that, yeah, like I said, City fans, I saw multiple, and that was just kind of the conversation of just head loss and upset. And what if Phil Foden does this? Blah, blah, blah. It was silly. It was silly.
This is Real Madrid's like thing. Like when you're Real Madrid or you're Barca, people will play out their contracts. That is how you get around transfer fees. They did it with Rudiger. They did it with Kylian Mbappe. They did it with David Alaba, coming from three of the biggest clubs in the world: Chelsea, PSG, and Bayern. And this is the way it works. Like, there is a hierarchy in football. City fans, I think, don't want to admit it, but when you come from the outside and you just know, like, it's Real and Barca, and then there's really just everybody else underneath. Like, we're on that next tier with Bayern Munich, PSG, throw in Inter if you want, but even they can't pay what we do, right? Chelsea, Liverpool. Like, there's a tier 2 and a tier 1. Those superpowers for a reason. Nobody else is playing out a contract to come to X club. That's why Lewandowski ended up at Barca, and now look at what he's done to help bridge that attack. And now they're scoring ridiculous amounts, right? Messi left Barca because he was kicked out, but he wouldn't have gone. But he went to PSG on a free, right? Like, this is the way it works. And the tea leaves were there. I was surprised they didn't get Davies, honestly. And Bayern stepped up the money, and he stays with them now. But like, I always thought it would be Davies and Trent. The Trent stuff, come on now. Jude went over there, kind of got everything ready. That's his boy. They grew up together. It's like, hey, bro, we good. Come on over. Come win the Champions League. Like, this is what you do. You go to Real Madrid, you win the Champions League. That is how it works in the last 10 years. So, hey, don't cry over milk that hasn't spilled. Is crazy. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't understand City fans having feeling any kind of way about it. You know, in this particular instance, right? If he wants to go. Why do I care? We can Liverpool. I mean, maybe, I don't know, but go. I don't care. So I just have a struggle. It's like, if you're really a City fan, why do you care? I don't know. That's just really crazy to me. But to your point, you know, from a Liverpool perspective, they had opportunities. They just didn't do what they needed to do to keep that man there. And, you know, maybe they don't want to keep him there. Maybe they don't care to. That's what they got to think about. But for a City fan, and again, to your point, this is what I was going to say, Charlie. You talked about the tiers, right? We got the Barcelonas and the Reals at the top of the table, and then everybody is below those two. It goes to show that I'm trying to make sure I don't exaggerate, but to a man, we've been able to keep all of our best players. Think about the David Silvas, the Sergio Agueros, the Vinny Companies, all of those that level of player, the KDBs, and now what we see with Erling Haaland signing a 10-year contract, right? When we've got great players that it's not like Barca and or Real don't want them, but we've been able to hold on to them for 9, 10 plus years until they get to the end of their careers, and then they move on. For almost without fail, we haven't lost anyone that we kind of quote unquote weren't okay with losing, I guess, to a certain extent. And that goes to show that no, we don't have the pulling power of those two, which is why we may not get Verts, right? If we were one of those two, Verts probably comes is not a question. Musiala probably comes is not a question. So maybe we don't we can't get them in the door. But once we get people in the door, we've done a really good job of making them a part of our family, and they don't want to leave. For the vast majority, 99.9% of the players that we bring in, especially our biggest stars, they come in, they become a part of this city football family, and then they fall in love. And I saw something today, Sergio Aguero was like, I had another year on my contract, but they were like, oh no, we're not going to resign you, boom, boom, boom. So I had to move on, but it was like almost reluctantly going to Barca as opposed to like, oh, I can't, I get to go. No, it was like reluctant. I wanted to stay another year, but the powers that be were kind of ready to move on. And so um to have that be our legacy as a club, that's actually pretty impressive, knowing how powerful the pull of those two clubs is.
Hell yeah, brother. And that's exactly what it is. People get to City and then they realize just how much, because this team does a lot of the like small club things where every person who works there, they know everything about you and your family and your dog, and all the players hang out with each other. But it's also in this giant club who you can win at. And so you really do get the best of both worlds. Because Manchester hanging out in there, it especially compared to London, like London very much felt like New York. And you get to Manchester, and they have their like cool bigger things and like a nice public transport and all that, but very much small town. Like I walked all the way around with the Man City US people, and we got to basically one side of Manchester. Well, we got one side of City's half of Manchester, and then was able to walk to the Etihad, and that still was just like a 40-minute walk, and we just took our time or strolled. I walked from the Joy and Etihad to my hotel. Like it wasn't that serious or stressful of a thing to do. And you can, like I said, you can have those big moments where you're winning and you're lifting all the, but then go and vibe out at the small area where you can be famous and be at a place, well, be Man City famous on the club or whatever. And you'll get the occasional person who will be like, hey, we love you, or they'll start a chant for you. But after that, they leave you alone. They're going to let you do your thing. They're going to let you be who you are, which I feel like the players would very much appreciate. Okay. All right. Anything else? Anything else? All right, cool. Well, no need to do shot call.
Wait, I lied. Should we do a man prediction? We got FA
Have
Cup this
to.
weekend.
Oh,
Do we have enough
don't
players
we?
to play a game?
Yes. Yes.
Like, do we have enough healthy players?
I forgot. I don't know
It's coming
why
up. I was like, I saw Bournemouth twice, and I was like, we already played them twice in the league. Oh, it's the FA Cup quarterfinal. This is the only trophy we can win. It's actually a pretty big match, but we don't want to talk about the actual football because it's so inconsistent and frustrating.
Oh my gosh.
How do we get through this, guys? Do we care? Do we not care? That's the question I want to ask.
And
Not a
it's on
score
the
prediction.
road.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you care about this result on Sunday?
Because you said it. It's our only chance at trophies. But also every single time I've gotten my hope up this year, they've crashed it. So yeah,
and then Vardy being injured, it's like
he got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt
I missed that.
yesterday.
Oh, we're cooked. All right, bet.
That's why I said, do we have enough healthy players? I mean, can we?
Yeah, we got them. The kids gonna play, I guess.
Nico O'Reilly, baby.
Let's go, Nico.
Let's go.
Left back Nico. God bless you against Semenyo and Cliver and all them boys. I think Bournemouth is out for blood, bro. Like
Yeah.
I think they are ready. Most of their players did not play international football. Or what they did, they didn't start like you know what I'm saying? Like they're ready. Like and I this is that year. It's like when Brighton first burst on the scene, you're like, oh, this is Brighton. They're good. Like they are cooking people. It's like, oh, they will get you at Vitality Stadium. The fight Michael B. Jordan's. I think they beat us. I think we lose 3-1. Damn, my lights cut out. Oh, that's crazy. Lights cut out. I said that is so wild.
I know.
The internet does not the city football gods do not appreciate that, my guy. They like, no.
Yo,
Being
that's
honest.
the best clip
Being
ever.
honest.
It just
Oh
stopped.
my God. I'm
Did I hit
sorry.
a remote?
My bad. We're good. We come in peace.
3-2. Okay, 3-2. 3-2. All right, 3-2. 3-2.
You better get a 2-2 draw. Let's figure it out on penalties.
Right.
All right,
Lose on penalties, because if it gets to
I
penalties,
don't-
we're for sure losing.
I want us to win, but I think about things of would I bet for it? Would I bet on it? No, I would not
No.
bet a 10, a 5,
Would I bet
a
on it?
20, a 100.
No, I work too hard for my money. I can't be betting it away.
Not on this city. No.
Not one that I can't. Yeah, I don't. It's gonna be tough. I'm gonna give us a. I'm gonna have to go 2-1 because I don't know that we keep a clean sheet. So I'm gonna go 2-1 us, and then fingers crossed, hope and pray. No confidence whatsoever, but I gotta.
Yeah. Seeing the last thing I saw was seeing City play with my eyes. I was there at the match in Brighton against Brighton, and I watched them. Bro, seeing Doku in real life with my own
I'm so
eyes.
jealous. I'm so fucking jealous of you. I'm
It's
so jealous, bro.
fucking insane, because those defenders are legitimately like trying to hockey check him. You look, because you see them throwing the whole ball, and he just bounces off of them, and the ball goes nowhere. Like
that low center of gravity,
mesmerizing,
man. And be a great running back in US football.
He's like Maurice Jones-Drew out here.
Yes, exactly.
Yo, man,
exactly.
Good
Perfect.
shout. Great
Thank
shout.
You. Thank you.
And yeah, to see people kind of go at him like they do, it like I'm truly willing to fight anybody and everybody for Jeremy Doak. I always was, but being able to see it in person, watching the offense rely on him so heavily, and for people to just be like, "But what about the finishing product? What about the rest of the fucking squad, bro?"
Like, you know what he needs? He needs 2021 Gundo. He needs a runner. He needs 2021, 22 Kevin. He needs 23, 24 Phil. He just doesn't have those runners right now. That's the only difference. Because he could be top 5 in assists if he just had more people. Like, it's not just Holland's fault, right? He's always double covered. But like, if he had more people who are occupying that space, we know what would happen. Just a bad year. Like, it's not his fault. He's amazing. God bless him on the left wing. Bad greatest.
Yeah, facts.
Hey, Charlie. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go for it.
I just don't know I don't know anything about odds and betting, right? But I'm looking at this. It says Bournemouth have odds of 3.10 or $3.10. I don't know what that means. 310 to win, 330 for a draw, 235 for Manchester City to win. What does that mean?
Do you have any plus signs with that? So basically, I'm looking at on FOTMob, right? They have it like this, right? Anything with the plus sign, the higher is like the you're the underdog. So like FOTMob has a plus 210 Bournemouth win, a plus 135 City win. So City's like a slight favorite for the win. The draw or making it to extra time is a plus 230. So that's like the least likely thing. So usually like the higher the number on the plus side, the less likely. So City are technically still the favorites, but I think that's in name and not in play.
Yes, right.
It's in name. It's not in form. It's not in season. It's not in anything happening in 2025.
We are City.
Yeah, it's because in the recent head-to-head record, Bournemouth have won once. We've won 15 and no draws. So we've won 15 out of 16. I would be interested to know when that one was. Was that recent?
It was this year.
I was saying. So it just goes to show that things are not the same.
Whoa, we're not. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go back here because y'all know I like facts. Bournemouth's in a terrible run of form. They've lost 3 out of 5. They haven't won in their last 5. Did not realize that because I'm so stuck on like January and February. Haven't realized they had a bad March.
That's fair.
So it's like now they're at their best. We know they can cook, but they've also given up goals. Like that 2-2 draw against when they gave up 2 goals to Spurs. I watched that one. They did just lose to Brentford before the international break. Like international break will make you forget some things. They only scored 1 against Wolves. They got actually shut out by Wolves too. So like they haven't been clicking on all cylinders. they just have had those highs this year. So it is like now I see why the markets are like City's still the favorite. Like we still score more goals than them in Premier League. Still have Erling Haaland. Still got Doku. Like okay, I'll change my prediction. We won't lose 3-1. I'm gonna go 2-1 City win. We figure it out. We march for the cup. God damn it, they got me. The numbers got me.
So now you're
Come
gonna
on,
put your
City.
money. Now you're gonna put your money on
Now
Context
I gotta put
matters.
something on it. I gotta make a parlay. It's March Madness weekend. I gotta do something. Gotta cook up. I had a perfect weekend on Sunday, so I'm in it. Let's get it.
Okay. Let's talk our City women. Okay. So they, again, the match that I was at, the 2-0 win in Champions League, the first leg, that was amazing to watch. Medina came on in the second half, scored a brace, 60th minute, 89th minute. Watching Carolyn cook in person, holy crap. That was so fun. Oh man, she is a baller. I was getting on her the first set of games that she was playing because she was just being wasteful. But shout out to Tom Baum. Context matters. It helps a lot. With NWSL, the ball kind of goes back and forth. There's a lot of speed in it. So if you make a mistake, chances are you're going to get the ball back very quickly and you'll have another chance. Luckily, Spin the Block dude shown up and has obviously explained to her the importance of maintaining possession. Like, also, obviously, we don't want to make you dim your lights. We don't want you just drop that spark. Like, be who you are, do what you do, but just be a little more mindful of what can happen if you lose the ball. And if you do lose the ball, you better make sure you track back and try to win that ball back. And she was. The energy that she brought, being able to see Yui and Yui, oh my God, just all these players. That was great. Kirsten doing her thing up and down. Yamashita was a fucking wall that match, especially at the end. Some of the stops she was able to make. That was so fun to see. Miedema, legit. Dirk Nowitzki, like Paul Pierce, where you're just waiting for them to like do something explosive, and they're just like, no, I'm just gonna take my time. I got my moves that you think you can stop, but you can't. I'm just unstoppable. And her ability to just find space, create her own space, and score. Oh man, I love that squad. And then for the WSL match, I was hopeful, but also I kind of felt like, Chelsea, they were coming for blood. And what's frustrating is, if you don't know, City lost at the Etihad. We talked about how it wasn't as full as we were hoping it would be. Carolyn scored first. It was high energy. We were super excited. But in that second half, it was all Chelsea. Like, truly, it was all Chelsea. Like, in the first half, it was possession. It was 48% City to Chelsea's 52. But in the second half, Chelsea had 61% of the possession and City had 39. Chelsea had 23 shots, 8 of them on goal, 7 big chances in the second half, where City had 1 shot on goal and 0 big chances. It was, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was fatigue. It was just incredibly frustrating to see the contrast of two halves.
I mean, the context is we don't have Lauren Hemp, Bunny Shaw, Alba Firgino for that match. Chelsea, they had basically all their attackers. So when Sonia Simeone said, you know what, let's release him, Maya Ramirez came in on a mission, bro. She is a battering ram. Like, Myra's different. and then she just occupied like the Beaver Jones doesn't occupy the same space. She's not the same threat physically, right? She's a hold up player, great link up play, 1-2s. Myra's going at you, and she's going with pace against tired defenders. Defenders she's clearly faster than, bigger than, stronger than. Like it's Bunny, but from Colombia. And so it got real scary real fast. Like we just needed reinforcements that
Real
we don't have
fast.
because of health. They have given so much, and this is where like playing a team 3 times in a row. In this case, that was like the 3rd time in 10 days, whatever. And not having the subs you need to have full rotation. Because like Carolyn cooked in the first half, right? But eventually she made a change, and I think she took Baltimore out and she brought in somebody. And it was just like, oh, this got shut down real fast. And the tactics changed. She was just way more aggressive. She actually pressed. She did not press in the first half. And that like so it's just like the managers can swing a match. And now, does that have anything to do with what's gonna happen on this next match? Nope. Because we can beat them we beat them 2-0. But my question to you, Crunk, are you gonna call it? Are we gonna advance? Are we gonna knock Chelsea out of the UWCL? Do you think it's gonna happen?
I will answer your question, but first, it was Aaron Cuthbert, Kira Walsh, and she brought in Kira Walsh and Myra Ramirez at the same time. And then in the 87th minute, to just fucking rub it in, she brought in Katarina Macario and Mia Fisher.
I was about to tweet about that, and I was just like, you know what? Because I was like, that is so ridiculously unfair. It's like I'm just bringing. I just need to waste 4 more minutes to get. Let me just bring in. It's like, dude, these are players that should be starting for most teams, and you bringing them at 4 minutes. It's just like the abundance of riches on that team is insane.
It's the greed they talk about in the Bible.
Facts.
That's all it is.
Okay. So all the news, injuries continue to pile up. I did see Rebecca Kanak in training photos and videos. So she may or may not be back, but currently, as we've last heard, confirmed, Yamashita's out. Shimizu, she's been out all season. Greenwood, Kanak, Leigh Alexandri, Taro Hanlon.
Yui got here too, right?
Yep, Yui. Yep. I was gonna save her to last. Yui. Blinky is even hurt. Fujino is still out.
Yui's hurt?
Yeah. Yep, Yui's hurt. Yui and Alexandria were the additions after this last match.
Yeah, they got subbed out because they couldn't continue at the end. It's scary. I was like, we don't have the bodies, bro. Like Chelsea's gonna put on the craziest press we've ever seen to start. I hope Cushing's like just hoof it because we just gotta survive. Like a draw is great. Lose by 1, great.
I'm saying only 1-0.
Yeah, 1-0 or a 2-1, right? Like we can't afford to get the extra time because we just don't have the legs.
Yeah, we do not.
We get extra time, they get extra 30 at home. It's a wrap. So it's tough, man. Like I think there is a way it could happen where like you could play like a 4-5-1 or maybe even classic 4-4-2 and let Carolyn and Viv be the outlets and just try to catch them on the break, right? Start Mary Fowler maybe too, get some more speed on the wing. But boy, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be tough. But you know what? I'm in my city back today. Let's advance. We advance. We find a way to advance. We got a 2-0 lead. We're gonna find a way to knock Chelsea out and have them be pissed because that's the one trophy they want. And we let that game get away that he had. We coming back. Yeah. We're gonna advance, baby.
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
Let's do it, baby.
Let's go.
Baby. Let's go.
I like that. And hey, Real Madrid, they have a 2-goal lead on Arsenal. So they look at like they could potentially knock out Arsenal, who could give us fits. And I guess I don't know how it works. Like, I would expect that we would see Chloe Kelly because she's been playing more and more for Arsenal as well. Oh man, that would be annoying and stressful to have to see her and have her potentially score because I know she would be up for that match if or when that would happen. Yeah, I can't, especially after what they played. Whoever is going to be on the pitch, they are going to do their thing. They're going to show up and show out. I think they're just going to play to get through the match. I'm sure they will have planned and understood the best ways that they're going to be able to score against Chelsea. But for the most part, it's be smart. Do not be wasteful. And just please, no more injuries. Let's let our ladies get out healthy, happy, and available for the fucking next match. Because in 3 days, they have to play Brighton. And, Brighton, they're not doing the best. And then that begins the women's international break. So well, I would say that's the good thing. But a lot of our players are international players who will end up going to play for their national teams. I hope some of them just rest and stay home because they too have to try to get this third spot in order to potentially, just to get the Champions League play-in match. It's not even to get in Champions League. It's to just handle the play-in match. And Brighton, they're fifth. They're right below us. 10 points. 10 points below City. But still, they can play decent football. They can catch us. City has lost to Everton. We've lost to teams. We've drawn to teams that we shouldn't have this year. So anything is possible. I just want to get out of these next couple games with everybody as healthy as possible. And hopefully moving on to the next round. Yeah, I definitely think that should happen.
I don't think we have a chance to get top 3 anymore after we didn't get points against Chelsea. Like, if we would have got a draw
And United won.
Yeah, and United won, and Arsenal's cooking like where City is, right? The FA Cup is our one trophy we can go after. The trophy we can go after here is UWCL, and hey, we already beat Barca. We beat Chelsea. We can draw against Chelsea, and then hopefully get healthy for the next round. Let's do it. Let's go, ladies.
Oh, speaking of, after that first leg win, again being at the stadium, fucking Nick Cushion, he came and went over to the supporting side and clapped for us, thanked us and everything. And bro, it's great. I'm here for him. It's he is saying the right things in these pressers. He obviously has the players hustling. They look a lot like how they did at the beginning of this year. And that's really all we needed. If we can get the team playing like they did at the beginning of the season, we should be fine. And now this match will be a test of the way that he sees football, his football philosophy, his perspective, his tactical ability, because we're going to have a plan for this game against Chelsea for sure.
It ain't going to be one on talent, baby.
Okay. Do we think Sir Spin the Block stays around if we because again, we know he had made his way into the men's gang. That's where he wants to be. It sounds like he was willing to take this on. Is there any chance that he's like, you know what, let's run it back. Let's stay again. Or is it really just kind of get through the end of this season and then go find who's going to be the long-term successor?
Sure, you can go first.
I think based on that quote Crunk played last time, he seems to have the viewpoint in life, which I think is healthy, that you can't basically count your chickens before they hatch. Like, you got to just kind of like see what happens, because he never thought he was going to go from the boys side to NYCFC, right? Like, you just keep living and working. So do I think there's a chance? Yes, I'll say that. I think there is a chance he stays on, especially if you have to push towards the end. I could see him get a 2-year contract and see what happens with a healthy squad next year. Yeah.
I agree with that. I don't believe he's gonna stay, but it all depends on how moved he is by the ladies, how hard they play. But even from his words, he was basically just like, I want to continue moving forward and coming to this women's side. It's not necessarily a step back, but it's just back to something familiar. And I want to continue to push myself and grow outside of what I am used to. So if managing this team gives me that feeling, I will stay. But at this moment, I am gonna assume that it's more of, you know, what was. But the game has grown significantly, which I think he has learned and realized. If it, honestly, right now, and especially the way that the women are playing, especially if we end up handling business in the like, even if we win this and we get to the final, even if we get to the final, I would say what Cushing has done is a success. And the only way I would be happy with who else they bring in is either it's an undeniable name, which I don't really know who that is. Obviously, like Seb Hines from Orlando, that would be like, it has to be like a super sexy name where I'm just like, ooh, like it gets me hyped. Or it's like bring Goater, like bring someone that is tied to the club and it makes me excited about the promise, which would also sort of kind of feel like a step back, like someone who with some like promise where I am looking forward to the future of the team. But yeah, that's about it. At this moment, let's keep Kush. Let's keep it going.
It's a little Kushnoja.
Okay. Well, shit. I think that's it. Anything else? I feel like we got everything covered. That was a nice conversation. I was a little worried. Not worried. I'm never worried when it comes
Hey,
to
you know, it takes care of itself. We had a beautiful 3 segments. We got 2 teams in action this weekend, and hopefully we have a 6-point weekend.
Okay. Show bros. Let people know where they can find you and the things that you're doing. Tarik?
At Tarik Peterson on social media, period. At Tarik Peterson. Just find me out there.
Short and sweet. I love it.
It's the back-to-back on Sunday. I didn't realize Brighton was 9 and City Men played 11:30. Okay, even better. Find me at Sharpie Charlie, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky.
And anything we do, find it at Shades of Blue and W, at Shades of Blue and W. If there's a social media app and we are on it, you can find us at Shades of Blue NW. I will probably repost anything that I share about my trips to England. I'm trying to get on a local footy team. It can be men's, it could be co-ed. I don't really care. So your boy has been, well, I've only been back for a day, but today I went to the futsal court and I'm out there dribbling. I'm doing drills. I got cones and everything. So I'll be posting lots of videos of my experiences and what I'm going to be having fun with that as well. Stay tuned with that. Please rate, review, comment, like, subscribe, all of those fun things. $6 can have you a part of our Patreon, supporting us, our independent podcast, and helping it grow. Tons of amazing content with cool people. I had some fun experiences while I was in England, and with some of those people that I was on their shows, they too will be coming over here. So that's another reason to subscribe. If you're a fan of Joe Bray, if you're a fan of Simon Balkowski, I'll be having Jack Gone back, like just from a City Stand base. That's gonna be fun. And then just all kinds of other amazing things that we got going on. But you know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.